Good morning and welcome to episode 3 of Project Mercury that's going to be covering the PC side of things and covering a little bit of digital communications there, and but not too much. It's more about the PCs. There are going to be 2 mini PCs in the rack, and they've now been fitted and tested. And the bottom one is the one that's going to hold all the Linux system, which is this one, and it's a GM Tech G9. It's right above the fan to keep it nice and cool. The reason behind that is it comes fitted with one M2 drive that has the home operating system on, that I've put Ubuntu Linux for monitoring the whole system. In the bottom of the mini PC is 4 M2 slots. And what I've done is buy 4 256 gigabyte M2 drives, put heat sinks on them because M2s do push out a little bit of heat, and you can buy 3mm heat sinks that actually fit within the case. On each one, I put on the first 3, I put a different operating system on. I've got Linux Mint for the admin and YouTube and all the other bits and pieces that you can watch on it, not communications. Then I've got Kubuntu running Andy software on one of them, and I've also got Dragon OS as well. That is also a amateur radio software. The final hard drive on there is for storing any data. All the data and bits and pieces is actually stored on the final 256 gigabyte hard drive. So there's well over a terabyte in there, including the one that the mini PC comes fitted with. So that's the GM Tech G9. I've tested the fan, works quite happily on blow. It doesn't provide any extra heat, and the temperatures work out at about 50 degrees on here. The critical level for the PC is up around the 100 mark, so it's quite happy running at about 58, 59 degrees. It depends on the much use. That's the GM Tech G9, all Linux based, with the 4 operating systems. So I'll just review once again. You've got on there the first one, which is Ubuntu, which is a management system for all of the M2 drives on there, and I can monitor all M2 drives, all the temperatures and bits and pieces, the speed of access, etc. I've got Dragon OS software up and running, and I've also got Andy's Linux ham radio software on there as well, and we'll look at them in a few minutes there. The next computer is a mini PC that some of you will have the same one, and all I'm running on there is various Windows ham radio software. So I've got on there I've got the satellite tracking system that I've got that's run on a Raspberry Pi, the Tiny GS satellite system. I've got Chirp on there. I've got Hamsphere. I know some of you, it's a love or hate relationship, but it's great for having a quick QSO when there's no skipping, and also for practicing your CW, practicing your other stuff as well. There is digital modes on Hamsphere these days, so for practicing slow scan TV, perhaps, or other modes as well. That's on there. I've also got Peanut on there as well. I've got Zello on there, and we've also got DroidStar, which gives us other digital amateur radio programs on there, and a host of other stuff there. I've got all the digital required for FT8, FT4, etc. I've got JTDX. I've got JS8 call. I've got Fliggy for the rat, and other bits and odds and sods that's on there, including all my login systems, EQSL, and what else besides EQSL? Log for Old Men. There we go. So that's the Windows system. These two computers come off the one monitor. I could put two monitors on there, but that's making it a bit bulky. So instead, I went for a KVM switch, which is this piece of gear here. And I've got both PCs running into it. It will take 4 PCs, and you actually get a remote control with it, which is the lazy man's method of swapping over computers. Basically, it's just reaching in to the 4 buttons that are on the top and switching computers. And if we go to the first computer, there we go, there's the Linux one, and that's Andy's software with all the software that has been configured by me for the various modes. This will be the main operating system, Andy's software, for running all the communications, amateur radio communications off-site, and everything is actually on there. I will spend time in a later episode actually going through what's available to you. But basically, if you want a piece of AM radio software, Andy's software has it, or Dragon OS. This is the Andy's one, as I've said. It's running off this Linux system here. Keyboard I'm using is this one here. And if I press the return key, hopefully it'll come up. Yep, there we go. You probably see the mouse just moving around there. This is the keyboard I'm using. It is a lit up screen on it, although I've not got the lights on it at the moment. There's a couple of things I'm not happy with because of my age, the size of the keyboard, and being able to see the keys. I'm using it okay at the moment. There's 2 extra buttons on the top there, left and right, that I can use for tabbing. And I've also got a scroll wheel on this keyboard as well, besides the 1 finger for the left mouse button and the 2 fingers for the right mouse button, plus the trackpad on it. Not keen enthusiast on trackpads, but it does work for me. So when this is the one that's actually plugged in to the KVM there. This one here actually controls the fan, and that's where I've plugged the fan into there on the KVM. It provides enough amps, so I can quite easily just reach in without using a remote control and press from one computer to the others, so to go from Windows to Linux. So they're the 2 computers that are actually in the system. The sound system is provided via a Bluetooth speaker that'll work on either Linux or Windows, and that's been configured in both of them. The microphone to be used when I'm using a Windows system is a wireless mic, which is this one. And should we do a quick test on Zello? See if there's anybody around at the moment. Mike 6, Hotel Oscar Uniform, doing a video for Project Mercury. Is there anybody can give me a very quick radio check, please?
Solid again, Ray.
Yeah, I haven't got the speaker up too loud, but I heard you there. Thanks very much, Stu. Much appreciated. 73s. So, okay, guys, that worked. You might not have heard him because I didn't have the volume up too high on the speaker. But that's proved that the microphone and the speaker actually work. And that's using a little wireless mic that'll last me all day. So that's the microphone I'm going to be using just for the Windows system and some of the digital communications on the Linux system. The receiver is actually here, and that's plugged into the Windows computer. And it's just a wireless receiver, USB, plugged straight in, and that's the actual microphone. Okay, guys. What else? That's about it for the 2 computers that's going to be used on the system. There's still more testing to be done, a lot of configuration, but we'll do that on a separate episode. But they're the 2 main computers that are going to be in the rack and fit really great. No heat off the mini PC, and what heat there is coming off the GM Tech G9 is being dissipated and blown through the rack. The radios will actually sit here, and I can actually feel that fan coming up. So if the radios do get warm, then we'll be able to cool them as well, just with the one fan, hopefully. Okay, episode 4 will be the Raspberry Pis. And you've probably already spotted 2 of them. They're actually sat in the rack. There's only 2 of them in there at the moment. There's going to be 3 Raspberry Pi Zeros, all powered over Power over Ethernet, and a Raspberry Pi 4. And that's one's going to be doing a specific job. So that's the next episode, which is Brandmaster, Phoenix, Fusion, running off Raspberry Pi Zero whiskies, and also the Raspberry Pi 4, which is going to be running All-Star. And that's it for episode 3, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope the video is more watchable these days since I've stopped my shaking hands, my Parkinson's. Hope you've enjoyed episode 3, guys. If you've got any questions, queries, or even criticisms, or even advice, either leave a comment on the videos or on the WhatsApp group there for Project Mercury. As you can see, all the internet's all working. We've proved Zello on here. I've also proved Peanut and Hamsphere and a couple of the others. So the Windows side is more or less set up. And just by a lightweight little microphone and the speaker that actually sits, if I raise this up a little bit, and the speaker actually just sits on the top of the unit, but it doesn't have to. I could put the unit down here if I wanted to, the actually speaker down on whatever desk I'm going to be using. Okay, that's it for episode 3. Hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Look forward to episode 4 next week, probably on Friday, and that's going to be covering all the Raspberry Pis going into the system. That'll be the communications all sorted, or the internet communications all sorted, and a lot of the amateur radio programs that people like using. Then we will move on, obviously, to the HF and VHF side that's going into it. Okay, and with that, guys, I'll wrap up this one and look forward to speaking to you next week.